Hi, listeners. Welcome to your daily cup of coffee with Charu, where hopefully, with a hot cup of coffee, we discuss how to tackle the day and the week ahead based on the astrological aspects that are dominating the sky. Yesterday, I briefed you on the Mars Neptune square that's dominating the sky this week, and it's happening at the point where the solar eclipse of 10th of June will bring about a new beginning. We all have been discussing solar eclipses bring about fated changes. The changes that would normally take years and years to happen, solar eclipses bring about that all of a sudden. But there's a build up to the solar eclipse, and this aspect is very much part of a build up to the solar eclipse of 10th of June in Gemini, and Mars is right now standing at the very degrees where that eclipse is about to happen. Today, after a brief introduction, we're going to dig into your specific zodiac sign and see how this impacts you. You can catch me on YouTube as well as across the podcast platforms Anchor, Spotify. I will leave the links in description for you so you can access this episode also through the podcast platforms. My name is Charu and I'm your host on this journey. So let's dig in. As I mentioned in my post and podcast yesterday, Mars square Neptune will become exact on 9th of April and it would be felt most of this week. Mars is our drive and Neptune tends to slow it down. But there is a hindrance for a more effective and inspired action that this aspect is trying to highlight to us before we go blazing into the eclipse season with a fated shift in our life. The 10th June eclipse would be starting a new chapter at the point where this aspect is happening right now. So, understanding this aspect and the dissonance that it is creating this week, the purpose behind that dissonance is very important for you to have the right kind of beginning on 10th of June solar eclipse. North Node or Rahu has already visited and activated this eclipse in January of 2021. We have already experienced the activation of this new beginning, whether we are aware of it or not. Some of the things might be happening behind the scene and we may not be fully aware of. They will fully come out, and the physical manifestation of it will fully come out to light during the June eclipses. But the activation of the eclipse already began in January of 2021. Mars, right now, standing at that very point in Gemini, dares us to do the right thing before we enter the physical manifestation phase of that period, of that eclipse. With Neptune, Mars is trying to put the inspiration behind our action, the right inspiration behind the actions that we're going to take. A collective goal, some faith behind our actions, and making sure that we're going after something with the right purpose behind it. Sometimes we reach where we thought we wanted to go, only to realize later on that is not the destination we truly wanted to get to. And Neptune is trying to make sure that we understand that what we are going after is truly our purpose, truly our desire. Neptune dissolves social, political, religious, and personal boundaries as well that block our collective growth. And they block the birth of a new societal ideal. So, Neptune is trying to dissolve all of those hindrances and those boundaries that block that birth within ourselves as well. It teaches us to have faith in the unknown. So, if we are trying to take the practical route, the easy route, Neptune is going to try to stop us in the tracks. It teaches us to have faith in the unknown, to aim higher, aim for a higher purpose, higher road. It teaches us to love unconditionally, allow the barriers to disintegrate, and act out of a place of pure inspiration to contribute to the society versus for ego gratification or for fitting in into the society and our surrounding. It undermines the success which comes without service to the collective and without service to your own soul. It is trying to keep you honest to your own soul's purpose. Nothing is done fully for altruistic purposes, but Neptune demands that our motivations aren't inspired by pure ego boost or societal pressure. A very creative aspect is currently happening, and it makes us sensitive to both our soul's purpose as well as to the collective need and styles. So, what we create is made out of pure love. It is made from a place of wanting to channel our soul. And there is an element of self transcendence over here where we don't necessarily keep ourselves and our ego gratification as the front of what we are trying to do. What we hold at the front of our mind when we are going after something, when Neptune is aspecting it, is a higher purpose. And that is bound to touch others on a deeper in a deeper way. And it will serve the collective in a much, much more meaningful way. So let's put some meat on the bones now by looking at your sign. And as usual, check your rising sign. That is the key indicator. And if you're able to, check the sun and the moon sign for a fuller picture. But rising sign would be the key indicator for how this aspect is playing out for you. So let's dig in. Hi Virgo. Virgo, for you, this aspect and the eclipse of 10th of June is bringing about a new phase in your career, a new title to your external identity, a new responsibility which you might have already initiated through a fated event in January or end of December, which will fully manifest in June when this eclipse is happening. And right now with Mars over here, you might be chipping away and working on it. And to me, because of the zodiac sign of Gemini, which sits in your house of career, there's a duality which is there. There might be options available to you. There might be dual roads which are opening to you. Or there might be some confusion on which path, which life path you want to pursue and go after. And this is an angular eclipse for you, which is happening in June. Angular eclipses are very, very eventful. They are fated changes, and they change both your personal life, your career position, as well as your home life as a result of that. And as I said, this is duality, which is evident in this. There might be two or more choices or roads which affect your career life and your home life. Sometimes a new position comes up and then there is a choice to be made whether to go for this or not, or a new boss comes in and then a choice opens up, or sometimes we sort of are confused about the direction of life. Should I jump the ship, change the jobs and career or not? Or there might be two jobs and two locations of living, or two job locations that might open up. And Virgo, for you, this fated new start, which came in fated existence through an event in January or December, but right now you're sort of putting the groundwork for it. There is a hindrance or confusion that needs to be overcome in terms of either the specific contract or your partner or the client, which needs to be overcome before you get to the physical manifestation of this new start. The confusion is around the choice to be made, and that confusion or hindrance might be coming from your house of commitment. You might have a commitment to somebody, to a partner, to an existing contract, or to a client that needs to be overcome before you start this new physical manifestation of a new start in your career. This new start could be multiple, as I said, working on multiple projects, or it requires maybe to be a master of many skills, might deal with media, information, a lot of good intellect to make it happen, a lot of connections, networking and marketing or advertisement use, a lot of shifts and turns come with it, requiring you to be nimble and flexible with it. As a lot of false starts or starts that needed changes might have come and gone. This one doesn't come with ease. It comes with a lot of flexibility. It needs a lot of flexibility. But at the same time, it gives you a lot of variety. It gives you a lot of outward energy which you enjoy, a lot of interactions, a lot of intellectually stimulating things that come with it. And your career and your outer image would shake up and change. You have North Node or Rahu in your house of career. When this happens, our career takes a distinct turn. And this might be in working for quite some time, but this is an event which sort of puts that in concrete. It's time to walk that destiny path. This very critical year and a new start is ahead for you. But you feel a blockage right now before that new start can begin. It's coming possibly from conflict between your commitment to somebody else and your commitment to your life path. The conflict between career and relationship might be coming to surface and holding you back in your tracks. This is a personal issue which needs to be resolved, or could be a problem or a blockage within yourself that you need to resolve so you can go with full commitment to this new path. Mixing career and relationship might also be a point of hindrance in some ways. Relationship might be weakening the drive in some ways for what you truly want for yourself and for your identity, for your career, for your own material growth. Sometimes the way we connect with others on a one-on-one basis also needs shifts and adjustments. We might be over idealizing a business or a personal partner, or giving in too much, or feel being used by another. And that assertiveness that sometimes is needed to make your point heard may not be coming because of this lack of boundary with the other person, because we have mixed personal and professional in some ways. With Neptune in your house of partnerships, slippery partners, dodgy clients, unclear give and take can become a blockage. How we fight this life's battle is a key measure of how much acclaim we will get in our outer life. So, even though this might feel like a distraction to you, but this is preparing you for future. How we fight our own life's battle, our personal battles, are key measure of how much acclaim we will get in outer life. And it could be a spouse or a partner you need to handle. It's a tough subject to be dealt with. But if we avoid it, if we dodge it, if we are too permissive on it, or just to avoid confrontation in our relationship, we go for an unfair contract, or we go for an unfair business partnership, or we go for an unfair relationship, it will reflect in our career success as well. We must learn to meet our adversaries, our open enemies, our critics, our clients, our spouses, our partners, our business associates head on. On tough topics for us to be a successful leader, this is something that is being asked for us. It's not for somebody else. This is for your own confidence. It's for your own inner battle. You're not proving anything to anyone, but handling this in a strong fashion will help you gain more faith in your own leadership style in life and career. Sometimes our relationships, the reverse also happens, that our relationships suffer neglect and lack of care due to overemphasis on career, because this is your career house and relationship house which are coming in conflict with each other, and that's the hindrance you're crossing. So one is, as I explained, that the relationship being too permissive because you've involved either a person with whom you are in relationship with in your business, or you have a soft corner for the person you're handling in a business way, and that is coming in the way. And it could be a spouse or a personal issue or your commitment to somebody existing which is coming in the way for you to take a new path. But sometimes the reverse happens, which is that overemphasis on career or outer life. It is causing a neglect or lack of care in our personal relationships. Now, this aspect can bring that to surface as a message and balance as well between the two. Neptune is trying to teach us to transcend the old definition of relationships, to find more spiritual connections with the loved ones. Right people come in our life, and old relationships and patterns around them need to be dissolved. So there are certain patterns that did not serve you well prior to this. in your personal life, in your relationships, and your business relationships, and your client relationships, which Neptune is trying to teach us to transcend and dissolve. What's left is the real deal. The people who are left are also the real deal. It's not just the pattern that are being dissolved, it's also the people. So it's a slow process, and it has been happening for some time. You would have seen people come and go, many dodgy people come and go, people who use you, who cross those boundaries, who encroach upon your boundaries come and go. And that has taught you a lesson on where to draw the right boundaries with the other people. And also, some people have left your life for good as as a part of that process. It's a slow process which has been happening as you elevate your relationship house. But with Neptune in your house of partnership, your relationships are bound to elevate. We are bound to find the right partners. We are bound to find more spiritual connections. We are bound to elevate the way we connect with others. We are bound to find ways in which we as a person enrich other people's life by just being present in them. Feeling used, confusion, disillusionment in relationships, and desire for that perfection in love could, at this point in time, though, be blocking your career manifestation. And that is something that is coming to light right now, almost like a distraction. You will feel that this feeling that a person will use you, or you'll be disillusioned with this person yet again, or some past loss which has happened with another person. That whole process of confusion around relationships might be taking your drive away from your career manifestation. And that is something, a hurdle that is coming to light, and you're being asked to handle that right now. Neptune here is a magnet of people in need to you. It's like when we have Neptune in a house of relationships, people who are weak, who need help, who need support, they're almost drawn to you. And you might have felt yourself being like that magnet. It's teaching you to love people selflessly, and that is not an easy task. But you have to draw the boundaries where love is the motivation, but not martyrdom. So be very careful in bailing out people. It should not be distracting you away from your life path. It should be adding to your life path. Love should be adding to your life path. It should be the fuel which drives you. Loving other people, doing things for other people is the fuel of Virgos. Being of service to the world, being of spiritual value to the world is a fuel for Virgo. So handling relationships right now is the hurdle that is coming to light. But you have a very strong new start coming up in your career. And that career choice would have to be clearly made right now. I think, as I've been saying, there's duality over there, because there's Gemini over there. There's always two paths to take. And the higher path, you're being asked to take the higher road. You're being asked to choose the higher path. You're being asked to choose the path in which you know that your talents will be of use to the larger population, and you're being asked to choose a leadership style, the style in which you handle people, the style in which you are, the kind of leader that you are, to take an elevated approach to that. Current hurdle might be a lesson in that. Handling it will help you propel forward to your new start as a new leader, as the head of a company, as a head of a business, as a head of a family. You are going to use softer skills to get there. There's a lot of analytical skills that are available to Virgo to use. You are the sign of analysis. But here, maybe a tact is also being asked for you to use, but in a positive way. Neptune is higher octave of love. So using love with enemies, using compassion with enemies, not letting them encroach your boundaries, but not getting distracted, dissuaded, disillusioned by other people, but rather saying, I have my cup so full that I can give a little bit to the other person as well. And thinking of it in a more charitable and a more compassionate way when you're handling people who might be taking a lot more than you are ready to give at this time too. But do not get distracted from your life path. In fact, use this to filter your life path. So if you have choices to be made, what kind of leader I need to be, this is training you to become a better leader. This is training you to choose the right career. So you sort of are not making that choice on the basis of another person and their conditioning and their demands, but you're opening your eye to what is the intention behind my career choices. Similarly, there will be some tough choices you'll have to make at work. It doesn't mean that we lose that love or compassion for people, but those choices have to be made despite people wanting you to make a more easier choice for them. You have to do the right thing. You have to do the right thing with the eye on the prize, with the eye on doing well from what you're doing, contributing to the society, creating something that is of value, creating something that can benefit many people, instead of being swindled by one, instead of being distracted by one, instead of being unfair for one. And that is something which will be a very big lesson for your next phase in career. People management will be a big part of your leadership style going forward. And there's a people management lesson I feel which is coming possibly through a personal incident at this point in time. And this all is happening at the critical axis, so it will be very actionable. It changes the direction where you're going essentially. This aspect, this new start in June is happening around 22 degree, which is, so if you have Virgo rising, moon or sun around 22 degree, this will be very, very strongly felt for you, even 4 degrees before and after. So that is around 14th of September born, 3 or 4 days before 14th of September or after 14th of September. This is a completely new chapter of your life which is beginning. It will be a key directional change for your life if you have planets around 22 degree. And right now, Neptune is playing around 19 or 20 degree. Neptune is playing around those degrees. So the confusion in relationships also be very pivotal, would be happening for 12 to 14, 12 to 14 September born. If you're 12 to 14 September born, that confusion over people, you need to be a bit more careful in terms of your boundaries with others. You need to be a bit more careful whether what you're being told by your business partner is that true or not. You need to gauge that and not blindly trust what's coming in front of you. This is especially true if you have planets around 19 degree to 22 degree of Virgo, which is, as I said, 12 to 14 September born. You'll have to keep an eye on for that. So that's what I have for you, Virgo. Take care. This is an amazing, amazing new start, but there are some hurdles which we are handling right now, and there is no one better at handling than you, because you are a sign which solves everybody else's problems. So this is a small hiccup, a small thing to get over, a hump to get over, to get to the other side. Good luck for that, and I'll see you in the next video now.